Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between arguments and parameters. So to do this, we're going to use a function that gives us the sum of two numbers. So we're going to create our function by using the let keyword, and we're going to say let function name, our function is going to be called sum, we're going to say equals, and so now we have these parentheses, and what we want to put in the parentheses are the parameters. So our parameters are what our function is going to be taking in. So we're going to name our parameters. So we want two parameters for this function because we want it to add up two numbers. So we're going to say num1, so that's our first parameter name, and we're going to give it a type because you always have to give your parameters types. And then we separate our parameters with commas, and if you don't have any parameters, you still need the parentheses, you're just not going to put anything in the parentheses. So now we have our two parameters, num1 and num2, that are both declared type numbers, and then we need to put a return type. So we want this to return a number, and so that is our function. So now inside the function we can use these parameter names as variables. So we're going to say we want it to return num1 plus num2. So we can only use these parameter names within the function itself, so within these curly braces, because that's the scope in which they're declared. So if we were to have said like print num1 up in the main function, it wouldn't work because it's only declared within the sum function. So those are our parameters, and now to call this sum function, we're going to use the name of it, sum, and now in these parentheses, when we call the function, we're going to give it arguments. So let's say 2 and 3. So I gave it two arguments, 2 and 3, and we give it two arguments because the sum function asks for two parameters. So these numbers are going in for the parameters. So when I call this, I'll say print sum of 2 and 3. When I run this, it's going to print 5 because, so it sees print sum, it says, oh, a function, so it jumps to the function, and now it replaces num1 and num2 with 2 and 3 because those are the arguments we gave it, and then it goes into the function and says return num1 and num2. So now those variables hold 2 and 3, so it's going to return 5 because 2 plus 3 is 5. So our arguments are when we are calling the function, and our parameters are when we're declaring the function and saying how many things it needs to take in. And also we need to make sure that our arguments, the type of them, match the type of the parameters that we defined. So if I put in hi instead of number 2, it's going to give us an error because it doesn't match the num1 type. So we have to make sure that our argument types match the parameter types within the function.